Module 6, Section 2, Debugging Techniques. So let's now go to our code and learn about some debugging tool and practices. The first technique that we can use for debugging our code is quite straightforward, and it's built in within VS Code. If, for example, we go to some of our tests, here you will see that we have the option to run this command with the debug test, and this will allow to set breakpoints wherever we want in the code. Let's open this. And let's say we want to check some bug within the create game. So we can set a breakpoint here and run the debug test. We first will need to install the dev debugger if you haven't done already. So hit there install. And once that's installed, we can debug our test. We'll get this prompt. And now we can see that we have a breakpoint and the code is running. We see that this is the test case where there's an invalid creator. We can check here the different starts of the information. Also, you can check it here in the variables. And we can go to the code itself, implementation. If we go to the message server, within the create game logic, we could make some breakpoints here. And see, you can go line by line, either using this, clicking here, or doing F10, and you check if the different functions and structures are built properly. You see here we have status waiting, but that's an invalid address, so this should fail here, and we expect an error. In this case, it's an invalid address. And then you can remove these breakpoints and press F5, and it's going to continue. For which case is this? Get game successfully. For the get games. Let's go to the query server test. It's running also this test because this is what the keeper test suite is running, all these. But actually you can select here, we should put types default TTL. But if you want to run just that one, you can do that also. If you, for example, press here, you will get all the result of the tests. And if you want just to debug one of these, you can click here in debug test, and this is going to only run the get game test. So let's try that out as well. We'll only debug this test, and it's going to be running only the test get game. So you see, we're only running this. This is all good. Different test cases, and it's done. The other useful technique that I wanted to show to you, it's remote debugging. This can be applied with a node, for example, running in a server, but we're going to do it with a local node. To do that, we will have to add some build flags to allow us to attach a debugger. So let's go to our makefile, and we will add where we have these build flags. We'll add a couple of options. So for example, if we have flag that it's no strip, this will add the within the Cosmos build options. In such case, we're going to add to our build flags this train path flag. Here is check for no strip option, and also we're going to check if no optimization option is passed. This is used for remote debugging. So if we have here the no optimization within the Cosmos build options, we'll add the build flags corresponding to get this GC flags all -n-l. And now we can build a non-optimized binary which we can use to get debugging traces. We have to go to a console and use this Cosmos build flag, and we are going to use no strip and no optimization, and then we're going to run the make install within our repo, obviously. Oh, I'm missing here. So now we're building an optimized version of our RPSD binary. We can start now with this binary, the chain. And then what we have to create is a launch.json file, as you see here in the run and debug tag of the VS Code. Create a JSON file, launch JSON file for Golang launch package. And we're going to edit this to launch remote debugging. So let's say here launch remote debugging. Request attach. We're going to attach to a debugger mode remote. The port by default is the 235. The host in this case is localhost, but if you are debugging a remote node, you'll add here the IP for the server where your node is sitting. And then we'll set the working directory to be the workspace folder, and the trace to be verbose. This is all the configuration that we need. And the next step is, if you haven't already, is install Delve. As I mentioned previously, Delve is a Go debugger. So if you haven't installed, you can go to the documentation and you have the installation process here. But as you saw, I just installed it with the VS Code. So let's check if we can get some version here. Well, it's not giving the version, but it is installed. There we go. And we will use the debugger to attach to the process ID of RPSD. That's our node running, that's the process ID. So to do so, we'll type this command, attach process ID of RPSD, and we'll listen in the port that we specified previously, the 2345. It's the same as the configuration above. Headless and API version 2. And we want logs. So when we run this command, this process is going to wait for us to attach to it. So let's look at this. Okay, I'm having an error here. Not by API version. It's API version. Okay, if you are getting this error, could not attach to a process ID, there's a fix for Linux. I understand for M1s, if you're using a Mac with an M1, the solution, you'll have to look for it. But for Linux, we'll have to set this variable to 0 in this file. So to do this, we'll echo 0 with sudo permissions in that file. And now we can try to attach again. You'll see now it's trying to attach. This is waiting for us to attach the debugger, and once we are here, we can launch the remote debugging. Is the same that we defined here. All the options that you define in the launch JSON, you'll have it here. So we'll launch this, and now that the node continues, we are plugged in with the application, and we can set the breakpoints wherever we want. Let's try this out. So let's see, for example, we can run the test and set some breakpoints in the message server, the create game, for example. Let's say that we are having a bug and we don't know why a game is not being created, so we can set a breakpoint here, and now we'll run the tests. E2E, npm test, and this is going to create some game, and we are going to catch it here. It takes a few seconds, but you will see that eventually this will fail because the test we are going to time out while we are stopping the execution here in this breakpoint. And you see right now we have here the params, the context of the transaction. This is a multi-store. Here also you can see all the anatomy of the context as well. You can explore that. And we can check and add breakpoints here. You see, going from this line to this line takes some time, but you can debug the node in real time with real transactions. So for example, here we will have a new game. Let's see what the new game has. There we go. It's the game number 5. We have all these rounds. What's the score? And you have the creator addresses. You can check every step of the creation. Once you finish your debugging session, you just disconnect here the debugger, and this will stop as well. And the node is going to continue working as before. With these two powerful techniques, now you're ready to hunt some bugs.